right, well, we're already live, so we'll kick it off. Hello, everyone, and welcome to December's QB Talks, ProAdvisor Award Winners Roundtable. Insightful Accountant is an online news and information source written for small business advisors interested in the latest news and offerings in accounting technology. My name is Emily Hedrick, and I'll be your webinar host. If you have any questions during the session, please enter them in the Q&A box, and we'll try to address them. Everyone that has registered will receive a follow-up email with the recording later today. Let me introduce our QB Talks host and roundtable facilitator, Murph. William Bill Murphy, better known as Murph, is in charge of all things related to content at Insightful Accountant. Murph is an advanced certified QuickBooks ProAdvisor with over 30 years of consulting experience. For many years, he was the anchor of the National Advisor Network's online forum and 3-time consecutive winner of the NAN Online MVP Award. Murph has published articles in numerous industry publications and served as technical editor for business analysis with QuickBooks by Wiley Publishing. Murph, you can take it over.
All right. Thank you, Emily. I want to thank everybody for being here, and that's especially our guests, Gail Kiersop and Tanya Hiltz, Stephanie Mack, Liz Scott, Mario Hernandez, and Vanessa Vasquez. And you'll have the opportunity to hear from each of them in just a little bit. But I want to start off by saying what I was just telling everybody a little bit ago about what people frequently say about these awards. That's a total misconception. And that is, a lot of people just say, well, they just hand these awards out to people they like, and there's nothing really to them. And that's the furthest from the truth. You know, everybody that's in this list today earned these awards, and they went through a lot to earn these awards. And all of our winners in the past have done a lot to earn these awards. It takes a lot of work. And we have a very, very subjective process. Objective process. And there's nothing subjective to it. So as a part of today, you'll learn a little about how that all came about and how it all works. And you'll see in part why these people who are here today got to the award positions that they are actually in for 2020. But before I can go on, I have to put a plug in for our sponsor for QB Talks, and that's Landy Insurance. They've sponsored QB Talks for years, and this year they're our exclusive sponsor of QB Talks. And Landy, which is how most people know them, well, they are providers of professional insurance, and they write all kinds of policies related to the accounting industry, things like errors and omissions and privacy breach, cybercrime, business office liability, professional liability. And if you are at the time of renewal, or you've been thinking that you're paying too much for what your professional coverages are, then it's time that you reached out to the folks at Landy and asked them to give you a quote because they really are competitive. And the easiest way to do that is Emily's going to open a poll and just answer yes, and they'll contact you. Now, if you're not interested, just say no, and you're not going to hear from them. You'll only hear from Landy if you say yes. But I can tell you, if you're not carrying coverage like this, you really need to be. And we have to always thank Landy for covering us here at QB Talks, and in the past, they've been part of our sponsorship for ProAdvisor of the Year and Top 100. So go Landy. Emily, you want to open that poll? I think
Should be
she
open
did.
on your screen. Yes.
Yep, it is. Yep.
Okay. We'll give just a few more seconds. All right. Thank you, guys.
And I also want to say a little about our 2021 ProAdvisor of the Year and Top 100 awards. We will be opening nominations this Friday, December the 18th, for our 2021 awards. Yes, I know it seems like, wow, we just handed out the 2020 awards. Well, Scaling New Heights was delayed, and so the awards got delayed, but that can't change our process. And so we open nominations this Friday, and nominations will be accepted for ProAdvisor of the Year and the Top 100 and the Categorical Awards. The nomination period will remain open through January 27th, 2021 at 11:59 Pacific time, and no nominations will be accepted after that time. Nominations will be accepted for qualified ProAdvisors worldwide again this year, as we reinstated both the Americas and Global International Awards as previously awarded in 2019. And about 2 weeks ago, I wrote a article about the fact that we were reinstating that rather than implementing the separate international awards. And I explained all the reasons why that happened. ProAdvisors may nominate themselves or another ProAdvisor during the open nomination period. And you'll be able to read more about that on Friday. But also, there's a companion piece in today's headlines that talk a little about, the basics of what it takes to be a part of the top 100. And with that said, let me just mention that, evaluating hundreds and even thousands of ProAdvisors using our system is a relatively simple process based upon a long established methodology we adapted because our top 100 isn't what a lot of people think it is. They think it's just a long list of 100 names out of the 800 or so nominees we get each year. But rather, the top 100 consists of the top 10 ProAdvisors in each of the categorical classifications we examined during the process. In other words, it's 10 times 10 is what equals the 100. So the application that each candidate submits is the fundamental classification tool for the process. It's designed to assess and qualify candidates into one or more of these categorical classifications. And these classifications correspond to our categorical awards. We recognize each of these categories each year, and the majority of the questions in the application are specifically geared towards those categorical classifications. At the end of the process, then, one ProAdvisor of the 10 categories who best represents that category is the categorical winner. And then one ProAdvisor who best represents the standard that is ProAdvisor out of these 10 is our best of the best, our ProAdvisor of the year. So let's begin by talking to Mario Hernandez. Now, Mario's not only a CPA who offers bookkeeping and accounting services, but he's got years of experience working with and consulting on QuickBooks and is advanced certified in all QuickBooks products. He specializes in advanced inventory needs and advanced custom reporting, accounting system migration, troubleshooting, and even the QuickBooks database. Two of Mario's favorite integrations with QuickBooks Desktop are QuickBooks Point of Sale for retail clients and Fishbowl for inventory centric and manufacturing clients. He's certified and highly experienced in both of those packages, and he's known for his ability to not only configure trouble-free installations, but quickly resolve client problems when they experience issues. Just read his 61 perfect 5-star ratings from his clients, and you'll quickly come to understand why Mario is a perfect example of what it takes to be one of Insightful Accountant's top QuickBooks desktop integrations pro advisors. So, Mario, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and your practice and, what this award means to you and what you think it's going to mean to your practice?
Thank you, Murph. Thank you very much. Yes, I really appreciate the award. It was something that, yeah, I was not expecting. But yes, to give you a little background on myself, personally, I was born in New York, raised in Miami, lived Miami my whole life. I've always been very techie. As a small child, 5 years old, I got my first Atari video game system and have always been into technology. And that kind of probably made it easier when computers came around for me not to be scared of them and to embrace them. I went to the university here. I got at Florida International University, got my master's in accounting information systems. I was fortunate that the university was offering that because I was kind of torn between going to management information systems or going towards accounting. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but that degree of master's in accounting information systems worked out perfect for what I wanted to do because I always liked numbers, math, but I very much liked computers. And that helped me accomplish that. I also learned a lot in that degree. I had to take a lot of classes in databases. So I learned about database structures, the way they work, and understanding tables, and that has in turn helped me a lot for QuickBooks. I didn't know at the time it was going to help me. I didn't never use QuickBooks, but when it came to QuickBooks, it helped me understand it better and implement it better. I got my CPA license when I was my last year of school. I took the exam. I was able to pass it. I was fortunate. I was a full-time student, so I didn't have to work. It was full-time studying for the exam, which is great. Anybody that's passed that exam can tell you CPA stands for can't pass again. It's a tough exam, so I'm glad I got that past me. I have two young daughters, ages 8 and 10, and they're at home now, going to school from home, and I get to help them a lot with the technology. And I'm really happy that the virus is horrible, but one positive aspect of it is that it's fast forwarded everybody's technological learning. From the kids to the adults, and they're using Microsoft Teams for school. They're using all these things they wouldn't have gotten to use for another maybe 5 years. So that's really helped them out. And in terms of my practice, I originally started with a small local accounting firm out of Miami, right out of college. Worked for them about 7 years when I decided to start Miami Accountant. And the firm I worked for, since there was a small local accounting firm, all their clients were QuickBooks. That's what they were using. Originally, it's like Peachtree was kind of there, but it slowly transitioned over to QuickBooks as the majority software being used. And in Miami, we have a lot of businesses that do exporting and importing. It's kind of like an international hub. So they do a lot of importing from South America and from China, and then they're forwarding it to South America, or they're just forwarding it here in the US and distributing here. And that got me heavily involved in inventory. A lot of the businesses we were dealing with had inventory, and that eventually became the niche for Miami Accountant. It's inventory from retail, wholesale, and manufacturing. That's what we choose to specialize in. And in terms of how this award will impact me, how do I think it will impact me? First of all, I'm very, very honored to have received it. As I mentioned before, I was not expecting it at all. It was a big surprise when I saw my name called at Scaling New Heights. And I mean, like, what it means to me, it's almost like a validation that I must be doing something right in my field, and it really reinforces that I need to continue in this path of third-party software integration and just focusing on that, because it's something that really helps my clients, and it's very useful. So what do I view that I had to do to earn this award? Well, it took me really, I guess, 7 years to get the award. I have been kind of applying for the top 100, and this is the first time in 7 years I receive a specialization award. So I know it's not an easy feat. I know that there's a lot of very, very qualified pro advisors out there. So I'm just really happy to have got an award. And I learned the whole specialization started probably at the first Scaling New Heights I attended in Atlanta. Back then, Joe was talking about learning a third-party software. He kept inspiring us to go learn a third-party software. And at the second Scaling New Heights, there was a fishbowl track being offered. And I took that fishbowl track, where multiple days taking fishbowl courses and getting your fishbowl certification. And that's what got me started in fishbowl. And then as the years have passed, I've just continued learning additional software. I mean, started doing a lot of data migrations to companies over to QuickBooks, starting off with IIFs before we had anything else available. Then started using Transaction Pro Importer, discovered that. Then went over to Carl Irwin's, who's not really around anymore, but someone else took over his business with Data Transfer Utility and other utilities that he offered. Currently using SaaS Ant for QuickBooks Desktop, which I very much like. I mean, like, it's the only desktop importing software I'm aware of that has an undo button. And usually undo you only get with QuickBooks Online, but this has an undo button for QuickBooks Desktop where you can undo any imports you do. I really like that. Custom reporting, third-party apps I use. Started off with just exporting to Excel. Then QODBC came out with Enterprise, and I was using the database knowledge I learned in college to create custom reports for clients with that. And now I use QCube for custom reporting because they do all the joining of the tables for you. It makes life easier. And then finally, for inventory, as you mentioned, Murph, point of sale, I was using, as soon as it came out, I was using it for retail clients. And then Fishbowl got certified in SOS inventory as well. And although that's for online, but still, I want to have something for inventory for online clients. And overall, I would say that learning new third-party software, it's easiest when you have a client that needs it. And that's what I would recommend. If you have a client that needs something, like, don't be scared of it, dive into it. And when you have that pressure from a client needing it, you're going to learn that software inside out. And then you're going to find that a couple months down the line, you have another client that comes up and they need the same exact thing. And now you have another software that you can offer them. So that's pretty much what I got to say, Murph.
All right. Well, I think you hit the nail right on the head, because I did much the same thing. I found that a lot of times what I'd have to do is I'd have to go find a particular desktop integration that fit my client's specific need. And then I'd have to learn it in order to help my client use it. And I might have to spend maybe 2 weeks learning it before I ever started trying to integrate it. And then the integration process. And of course, you can't necessarily always charge all those hours to your client, but you're learning as you go, and you can work out all those bugs. And many times it's that learning experience that gets everything customized just exactly the way the client wants it, as opposed to A lot of times, if you have the manufacturer come in, they want to set it up just the way they do routinely for everybody. And then you wind up spending 6 months trying to undo and redo. So I think a lot of people are scared to get into a lot of those bigger third party uh, apps. And we need a lot more pro advisors who are getting involved. And unfortunately, a lot of people, because they are moving to QBO, they're not getting uh, associated with desktop. But I think there are a few things on the way that are going to help that and even improve the integration of cloud based products to desktop. So I better shut up or I'll be in trouble with some people. But anyway, Mario, I want to thank you for taking time to be here today. And I want to say congratulations on your award. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you didn't earn it, because you did.
Thank you very much, Murph.
All right. And next is Tanya Hiltz. And she's our 2020 Canadian ProAdvisor of the Year from Belleville, Ontario. And she's the founder of Cloud Bookkeeping Services. And she has over 20 years of bookkeeping and income tax experience. And many of you may also remember that in 2018, Tanya's firm won Intuit's Firm of the Future Award. And in fact, they were the Canadian runner up for that award in 2017. Now, Tanya is the IPBC certified professional bookkeeper and an advanced certified QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, a member of Intuit's Trainer Writer Network. She was awarded the Inspire Influencer Award bookkeeping in 2018 and recognized as one of 21 finalists for the 2017 Top 10 Influencers in the Canadian bookkeeping world. She is one of HubDoc's top 50 cloud accounting firms. And of course, she's been one of our top 100 pro advisors for several years. And one of the most important core values at the foundation of her bookkeeping service is the importance of sharing knowledge and contributing to the community. And that's one reason why she also volunteers as a mentor for Futurepreneur Canada, helping to guide and shape tomorrow's entrepreneurs. When you look at the ever increasing number of pro advisors participating in the Top 100 Awards program from countries outside of the United States each year, I'm proud to say that Tanya is a prime example of what it takes to represent the international flavor of our awards process. So, Tanya, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and a little about your company? I know you've got a group of gals that works with you that's helped you win that Firm of the Future award. And just, you know, tell us a little about what's going on in Canada.
All right. Thank you, Murph, and thank you for that great introduction. So a little bit about me. So I probably come from one of the most diverse backgrounds out of anybody on here, because this is actually my third career. I overlapped, I've been dealing with taxes since 97, and then that overlapped and led into bookkeeping. I guess I did it backwards from most people. I learned the hard stuff first and the easier stuff later. Yeah, I did this basically, I was doing taxes, you know, part-time. I insurance was one of my previous careers for 17 years. And when I had my daughter, my husband had just said to me, you know what, why don't you just get into taxes full time? Because I didn't go back to work. And that kind of all led to this. And it was very important to me as well when I started growing my team, that I did the same thing, that I found people that had same core values. And I wanted to be able to speak to that, that mother who wanted to be able to have a better work-life balance than is available out there at working at traditional companies and whatnot. So yeah, I've actually only been doing the bookkeeping for 11 years. Otherwise, like I say, it was just straight taxes. And so it's been quite a busy and full last couple of years. I was not, sorry, just a second. I was not formally educated. So I did this, I just straight through myself. So it took me a lot of years, and I felt I had more to prove because I didn't take the formal classes. I now have a diploma in accounting with honors that, I got when I got here, because I thought, 10 years ago, because I thought, you know what, I need to have something. But I think that's part of my drive, that I've always felt I don't have a formal classroom education. So therefore I have a lot more to make up for, which is again, part of the drive. I did receive my certification through the Certified Professional Bookkeepers of Canada designation in 2017. And I actually joined their board as a board member last year. And this year I am finance chair as well as treasurer of the organization. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit about me. More again about the firm is it's funny, I watch a lot of the business shows, and I watch Shark Tank and Dragon's Den. So Dragon's Den is a Canadian version of Shark Tank. And Kevin O'Leary said something on there one day that really struck home to me. He says, if you can't take a vacation and walk away and have the work continue to be done, all you've done is created yourself a job, not a business. And that really struck with me. And I thought, you know what, that's it. I've created a job. I mean, I went virtual. I was on QBO. I could still go on a cruise ship, and I could, work on my vacation from, the Lido deck, which was great, but I was still working. I couldn't go away and have the work continue to be done. It was either waiting for me or I had to do it. And that really didn't resonate with me that much. So I grew the team. There's now 3 of us full-time. So Leanne's been with me 5 years. Sandra's been with me 3 years. Again, because I've given them the same liberties that I have. If their, kids are sick, we're set up to work virtually, so they can go home, work from home. They can work flexible hours, because as long as we get our deadlines hit, it's okay. There's always going to be somebody to answer the phone, as long as we know, they're probably not really available for the phone that day. We all work together as a team. So we aren't traditional in the fact that most accounting firms, this is your client, this is your client, this is your client. We are, again, this is where my diverse background came in good, is we take a look and say, okay, whoever answers the phone should be able to help that client. So we all kind of jump in where it's needed. We all know the client files, and we can all back each other up really, really well. And I think that's part of what's made us a strong team. And I know I would not be where I am without the team. Absolutely. We've got, part-time person that's helped me for 10 years in the back. This is her vacation money. She's definitely helped towards it. But like I say, Leanne and Sandra have been the huge, huge help for that. And yeah, so I guess that's the business side. Now, I've recently rebranded. So we're Cloud Bookkeeping Services. That is still our legal name. However, we've rebranded this past year to be Cloud Business Services, because somebody said to me, where do we see bookkeeping? And I feel a lot of people still see bookkeepers as data entry, and that's not what we are. We are business coaches. We are so much more than what we were, 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even up in Canada, at least, because we've only had QuickBooks Online out since 2012. So very different world. So I just thought, you know what? Yes, I need to rebrand, and I need to get bookkeeping out, because that's just a small portion of what we do. We really work with our clients and help support them, which of course has, made it great for our clients. We turn away business all the time because we just don't have enough. We only work on referrals. I've never spent more than $100 a year in advertising, to be honest, because of the way that we kind of work it, and that we're very particular as to who we work with. So yeah, we're going through the rebranding to Cloud Business Services. COVID really, I think like a lot of people, COVID really made me take a look at the business. So I'm glad that we had rebranded at that point in time, because it definitely is more focused on what we're actually doing. We were already set up to work remote. So I said, great, let's just turn our phones on. We worked together because, we wanted to in the same office, but so we've all been working at home since the second week, the beginning of the second week of March. And we just meet every, 3 times a week. We meet in Zoom and we, have each other when we need to. But where it's really changed me is I've stepped completely back out of the bookkeeping. I am only now dealing with the year ends and the high end stuff, because in Canada, the government funding that they've come out for the subsidies is just insane. So I have spent, I'd say probably minimum of 100 hours on government calls, learning everything about the subsidies and then trying to pass that information along to our community, because a lot of the community up here in Canada doesn't have a team to be able to back them. So they don't have time to attend these. So I'm trying to pull everything together, get everything I can, get clarification. I've been lucky enough to, I did some lobbying as well as the government on behalf of the small businesses, because, if our clients can't make it through, how are we going to make it through? So I took, again, a different spin. So I've supported the industry that way, because again, it's really important for me to help support everybody else. I got here with support from other people where I am. So I'm just giving that along. And what I realized, and so we're doing another rebranding, not the name, but our services next year, is that helping the clients pivot. So we helped a client who is, she does swag and she made her money from conferences. Obviously that was a no-go. So we thought outside of the box. Her and I put our heads together, and then she put together bags for the larger companies that were sending their people to work from home. So swag bags for the employees to still feel connected, and include gifts, games for their kids to play while they were in meetings, or, if they just had pets, something to keep their dog from barking while they run the Zoom meetings. We have a thrift store. She's a consignment thrift store. She is now turned into a personal shopping store where they have to make an appointment, and it's a celebrity experience. She's doubled her sales. So really working like that with my clients and being able to get in there, I took a step back and I thought, this is advisory. Advisory isn't cash flow. Advisory isn't cash flow apps. This is real advisory. So I'm going to be focusing next year on advisory services, a little bit in the books again, but that's where my focus is going to be, is get in and truly do some coaching and some advisory. And of course, I'm probably going to end up niching in the accounting industry, because I've already got boot camp, which was to try to help our profession as well. We've got 60 boot camp launched 4 years ago, and we take on no more than 24 a year. And we've got 67 through the program. 60 have completed, and we've got 7 going through right now. And this is just going to be an additional add-on. So I will get to spend most of my time helping people, which is what's going to make me happy. And that's kind of to bring around to the award. I don't really know. I didn't sit there and say, you know what, I want this award. I know because I really want to help the accounting industry and the parts of my business that I have that overflow with the accounting industry. I need to stay relevant. So that's always something that's in the back of my mind, but I don't sit there and purposely say, I need to do this to win this award. So I was really quite surprised, because I know Canada, we've got a lot of great people in here, and I can just only think it's because in the last year, I've really thrown myself into educating other people and receiving the education. I mean, I've mentored under Ron Baker several years ago. Last year, I was mentoring under Rondell Corlick, and I've just started a couple of months ago a mentorship under Jeannie Whitehouse. Absolutely amazing, to try to learn more and then to try to pass that information along. So to me, this award, again, it's like I say, it's just really unexpected. But I think that if you have passion for what you do and you're doing things for the right reasons, that really shows, and everything else just kind of, I guess, falls into place. So I don't know, I guess that's about it.
Well, when we have to, obviously, we look at different standards, and the criteria that we look at on an international basis has always been slightly different. And last year, when we moved to looking at Canada alone, we got much more narrow focused. And of course, now that we're going back to the 2 awards, it'll be a little more diverse. But what I can say is that we had a learning experience this year, and we know where we've made errors in the past. And we hope that this coming year, we'll be able to have a far greater recognition of a more diverse international population, because we know that the overall number of international pro-advisors has grown significantly, and they deserve more recognition. But I certainly want to congratulate you. You are a prime representative of what it means to be a pro-advisor in Canada and what it means to be a pro-advisor.
Thank you.
And I need to move on. And so with that, I'm going to talk just a little about Stephanie here. Stephanie's firm is in Essex Junction, Vermont. In 2015, she decided to turn her hobby of helping small business owners get their books correct into a full-time endeavor. Since then, her business has rapidly grown to 4 employees, whom she has taught to train her business owner clients in making certain that their accounting data is correct all the way through their books from start to finish. Recently, she's grown her business by reaching out to mid-market and helping those clients with conversions from QuickBooks Enterprise to QBO Advanced using integrated apps. Stephanie's excited to see where the next few years will take her, and that's why she's a prime example of what it takes to be the top up-and-comer ProAdvisor Award winner. Now, before I invite her to make a comment, let me just say, this is an interesting category in that in some ways, it works just backwards to the rest of our awards. When you think about it, so many of the awards, we add up points, and we think about length of tenure and length of service, number of this, number of that. But when you are working with an up and comer, some of those things have to go backwards, because you're looking at, the person who's accomplished a lot, but in the least amount of time. And so it's a very interesting set of dynamics, the way that our computer program bills out that set of numbers. But Stephanie, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Thanks, Murph. This award means so much to me. Being recognized by my peers has been inspiring me to keep going with my lofty business goals. I first wanted to give a quick shout out to Karen Sieward. She's a longtime top 100 pro advisor, my mentor and my friend. Her belief in me has been caused me initially to get started and follow through with my vision. Her guidance on what to do next along the way has been invaluable. And in 2012, she told me to sign up for the QuickBooks ProAdvisor program. And I literally asked her, like, what is that? And that's when things sort of took off. I worked for her part-time for about 2 years. And in 2015, I started my own practice at the age of 40, ripe young age of 40. I had to do a ton of stuff in the past 5 years. Which is going back to college, getting an accounting degree. I've hired, like Murph said before, 4 employees, and has been a 4-year member of a local marketing networking group to maintain business growth. I moved my cloud accounting side of my practice to offshore in the summer of 2018 and to set up for scaling my practice. And I'm now in a great partnership with analytics. In 2019, I took on being part of a Woodard Group host in my state. And I joined the Woodard Alliance a year ago to develop my advisory skills and the advisory skills of my practice. I had the opportunity recently to speak at Scaling New Heights 2020. I'm now doing recorded trainings for Knowledge Wave, which is an online Microsoft training platform for QuickBooks Desktop, Online, and Gravity. Much like my first job 20 years ago was setting up a CAD design system for an art studio. I love setting up and testing Melio currently, and I'm preparing a presentation for my Woodard group and also for hopefully for Scaling New Heights 2021 on how to use it with clients, tips and tricks and so forth. What do I really love to do? Currently, it's kind of nerdy stuff like vetting products and taking copious notes and setting up systems and implementing software and letting users know how the do's and don'ts and tips and tricks. I love helping software developers improving their products, and had a great chat with my favorite app right now, which is Client Hub. So I like implementing and documenting. And what are my lofty business goals? So my quick history is I worked with my husband as an office manager for his trash business and watch him grow and sell his practice for almost $1 million. And that's what I want to do with mine. So I set those goals up for myself and currently right on schedule. And in the middle of all of this in the past 5 years, and like all of us workaholics, I wasn't paying very close attention to myself, and I ended up with a baby at 42. And so the second huge shout out goes to my mom. Without her being my nanny and my cook for my baby, my 2 sons and my foster daughters who are in grade school, I could not have grown this business so much in the past 5 years. So this award is really, truly impacting me most recently by being asked to write for the Woodard Report, and as well as other interview, presentation, speaking and membership opportunities that I don't think I would have had otherwise. So I just wanted to say thank you, Insightful Accountant, for creating this accounting industry recognition platform, because I really, truly appreciate it, and I'm having fun. That's about it.
Well, I want to thank you also and say once again, as I said earlier, don't ever let anyone tell you that you didn't earn this award, because you did. And you've just told us exactly what an up-and-comer is, because you explained very concisely how much you've accomplished in such a short period of time. That is a perfect example of an up-and-comer. We couldn't have recognized a better individual for this award this year.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Having fun. I'm looking forward to following in the footsteps of all the people who've been here before me.
Well, I don't know what I can say about Liz. I can't imagine that anybody on this webinar doesn't know her. After all, she co-hosts the QBO updates for QB Talks once every quarter, and she writes the QBO Monday Minute features on average 48 weeks per year for the past several years. But neither of those things are the reason why she was our top educator, trainer, writer for 2020. The reality was that when Liz submitted her application form, or formal application that everybody submits, she meticulously documented every single course and webinar she taught, co-hosted, and developed for Intuit's spring, summer, fall, and winter tours, as well as Scaling New Heights and the various other conferences during the year we measure, which was 2019, before these awards. And the number of hours that she documented far exceeded the next closest scoring applicant. It just goes to show the importance, as I stress every year, of keeping accurate, verifiable records and recording them properly on our application form. But beyond that, I think everyone who's ever participated in one of Liz's classes knows her to be a great instructor who cares about both what she is teaching and who she is teaching. because she wants her students to get as much out of what she is teaching as she's putting into it. And that's why she's a prime example of what it takes to be one of Insightful Accountants' top trainer, writer, educator, ProAdvisors. So Liz, I know you won't have a problem saying anything. So just jump on in here.
Well, thank you. I feel like I'm blushing and also just really excited to have this opportunity. Listening to Mario, one of the things that he said is never being afraid to say yes and just jumping in. And I feel like that's been the truth throughout my careers, that if I want to do something, then, even if it's something I don't know how to do, I just go ahead and jump in. And I feel like teaching is actually the way that sometimes I learn. So if it's going to be something that I want to share with my peers or share with my clients, I try to make sure that I understand it really well. And all of those hours that you put into learning, I then try to document. And I've even, thinking about with Intuit, I've even called into Intuit support help and had them read one of my articles and resource documents to me. So that's happened a couple times. It's kind of a funny situation because I'm like, how do I tell them I need more? So it's been fun. And I would also say that it's exciting to be with this group of people because with Intuit being part of that team, I've been able to travel around and meet so many of these people that are here in person. And, of course, pre-COVID, but that means that my community is strong. It means that my peers are really out there and trying to absorb and grow and learn. And I think that that's the thing that keeps us moving forward, is always trying to incorporate what's the next thing. And, my family would tell you that that's the thing that probably drives them crazy about me, is that I can't sit still. I always want to go on to the next task. What's the next challenge? And so I always am trying to figure out what's up and coming and what's to be on the horizon. And I can't say, I'm going to take this out of my box because I can't figure out like where to put it yet, because I've thought about sleeping with it. I've thought about like, where do you put this? But I love it. So, that's the most significant award that I've ever won. And it means a great deal to me. It means a great deal to be part of this community. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that these are my people. It's like the first time that I went to a conference, I just looked around and I was like, these are people who get me. These are people who I can talk numbers with, I can talk apps with and grow. And that was the thing that I gained from my first conference experience. And the people that, have been around me have been ones that have continued to just give me opportunities and help to inspire me. So I'm very appreciative for, my relationship and just friendship with Murph. I think that, that has fostered all kinds of opportunities to be able to write and to be able to share in a webinar platform my desire to help my peers. And so I think that a big part of it is making sure that you are surrounding yourself with the people who are inspiring. So listening to Tanya talk about bookkeeping camp and training the community, I can't tell you how just amazing I think that is, because, not only is she trying to have a business and help her clients and better their situations, but also her community, and part of that community is growing other bookkeepers. So I think that those are the fantastic opportunities that are available in our field.
She didn't mention the fact that I dump all the clients that I don't want, or for a long time, I dumped all the clients I didn't want on her.
Bring it on. I'm not
After
scared.
I met her, I'd just go, well, I've got somebody that I'd really like to send you over to talk to. And so,
Well, I don't think I've been afraid to say no, and I think it's always led to opportunities. And
That
even
was
with
exactly the point. She wasn't afraid. She always said yes, really is what she
always,
did.
yeah,
But yep.
And I just got finished with creating the payroll content. So if you as a ProAdvisor go into QBO and go through your payroll curriculum, that's content that last year was put together, and then this year was updated. So that was great to be a part of. And then also the core certification. And now I'm working on intro. So a lot of the mechanics of making sure that information is passed on to our community and up to date, that's a big part of what I do.
All righty. Well, Vanessa is a QuickBooks expert with professional business management solution and technology consulting services focused on helping Hispanic entrepreneurs and accountants. Having done thousands of QuickBooks workouts and implementations and thousands of other QuickBooks engagements in all 50 states and Latin America, Vanessa recognizes the importance of providing training opportunities and financial solutions for the rapidly growing Latino small business community. Vanessa's committed to providing the best QuickBooks accounting tools and creating the potential for better decision-making for Hispanic entrepreneurs via QuickBooks Online tools and applications, compliance with tax and accounting laws for Latin America, and the application for analysis and management of workflows and much more. She's a certified ProAdvisor in QuickBooks Desktop and an advanced ProAdvisor in QBO, and has written and published digital training courses and manuals in Spanish for QBO. She was one of the first Latinas to present at Scaling New Heights, an international conference for ProAdvisors. And of course, she's a trainer for the Academy of Public Accountants and the CPA Academy and Latino Tax Fest, which is a conference for all Latino tax preparers in the United States. And this is one reason why we were proud to recognize Vanessa as our top QBO apologist for 2020. And so, Vanessa, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little about yourself and maybe some exciting news you have to share.
Oh my God, this is totally surreal just to be here with this group. I love what everybody has said. Just to be able to share this with my community, being able to be here is totally surreal. I have been so amazed by just the honor to be part of this group and to be called an apologist. I really, it was what Mark was saying and Liz, that the whole idea of like starting with apps and learning it and building processes around what customers come and tell you, I just need to be successful in finances. Can you do that for me? And I will handle the sales and all the other stuff for my business. It has been what it has taken me to learn about apps and learn about processes and learn about how to put all this together. So again, yes, just like you said, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was something that I didn't expect it. I was like, oh my God, I felt like at one of those content pageants that, oh, it's like, it is me when you call me, because I was like, this is so real. I cannot believe that I'm there. And it was great. It was an amazing sensation when I was there receiving that award. The whole idea behind Vanessa Vasquez Consulting has always been to train the Hispanic community. I am Dominican, and I came to Miami to do my MBA. I'm an FIU alumni, just like Mario. And I came to do my MBA, and then I started learning back in 2000. I started learning about QuickBooks, and I loved it. I fell in love with it, but I saw the need of the Hispanic community, that they didn't have anybody to train them or to, teach them, guide them, or where to go and how to do it. And I'm like, okay, so let's start. And I started a blog. I started writing for QuickBooks en Español. That was my main thing. And I created QuickBooks en Español, and I started writing about it. And I started getting hits and people just calling me my cell phone. And back then, we didn't have all this amazing programs that we have now, that we can connect, like Google Voice or like, other ones. And I started getting hits from all over the place. Customers calling, oh my God, we have somebody that is teaching in Spanish. And it was great. And it had grown from there, of me having a family and having, two beautiful girls. I'm a homeschooler mom. I have been homeschooling now for 11 years. And it has been something that I love doing. I have a girl that is out there, and she's always in science, and she's always learning about what I do. And she, even though she's turning 11, she's like on all this ideas of like, mommy, I want to learn what you do. When she goes into QuickBooks Online, and she knows how to handle and enter information in QuickBooks Lesson, which is something that people say, oh, you're just abusing your kids. I'm like, no, they want to learn. So I'm always putting together processes for people. That's why I have got into the whole idea of learning about apps. And just like Liz said, you need to learn it before you can implement it. And to love what you do is what makes us do an everyday effort, put an effort on everyday things. Sometimes we don't even have the time to, brush our hair or do certain things, but we know that what we're doing is important for businesses. And every time that we learn an application, we know that once we implement, once that business has that app in place, it will shorten their time that they have to spend doing manual things. Instead, they're focusing on growing their business. And that is one of the main things that I have learned, that every time that I learn all of those different apps, and it can be, let's say a payroll app, but then you start learning about other ones, because each and every one of those apps serve different people, serve different industries. And even when we learn, on a specific one that handles, let's say, receipts, or let's say that they handle, copies or invoices or payroll, accounts payable, accounts receivable, we know that certain applications work for specific customers. So the whole idea of learning it and getting certified on all of them and understanding that, it is very important for me to introduce it to the Hispanic community, for me to be able to train them, and to be able to have the possibility of introducing it to a world of businesses that don't even know where they're standing. That they come to us, and I know that you guys have gone through this, that you come to us and they have maybe an Excel that they're doing their information, and how do I put a process into place? And that is what I have done. I just put processes into place and understanding what they're doing. And that's how, when you say, well, it's an integration and apologist, I was understanding, okay, what is this? This is about apps. Great. When the first time that Gary said it, I was like, okay, this is about what I really do. And I loved it. I loved the fact that I was able to show our community that it is possible. It is possible to go out and learn those apps and being able to put processes together. And to do it with QuickBooks Online, what it does is that it gives you the flexibility of working. Like for me, this time of opportunity, I call it a time of opportunity. It has been a time to show the people that you can do it from home, and it is feasible. It is something that we were able to implement to a lot of different customers that were maybe in their offices stock, and now they have to work from home, and they have to implement those type of applications to be able to grow. So it has been quite a journey. It has been amazing to be able to this first year to not only be the top 100, which was beautiful. I have applied, and this was the year that that God had for me, and then also to be top QBO integrations apology. So it has been quite an amazing story. And just understanding everything that is happening with this year, it has been a year of being able to not being able to hug my people, which I love to hug each and every one of you, but to be able to collaborate, to be able to give to the community, even if it's virtual, but we are able to do that. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been amazing, and this is the way that we can go and give back to our community. Just saying, you can do it. It is possible, and let's keep on growing. I think that is the whole idea behind it. Thank you so much, Murph.
Thank you, Vanessa. Folks, we're running a little late, but I want to encourage you to stay with us. And we've got more interesting topics to cover. And our ProAdvisor of the year is still here. And so I'm just getting ready to introduce her, but I've got kind of a long introduction, a long way to get there. So yeah, I'm back to this slide, and you're going to kind of wonder why. But as I said, we now come to our ProAdvisor of the year. And I remember when I was first asked to design this process, I was thinking to myself, what stupid questions am I going to ask, all these people who are going to apply for this? Why should you be ProAdvisor of the year? Or what qualifies you to be in the top 100 ProAdvisors? And then I remember watching that movie, The Right Stuff, about those first American astronaut applicants. And believe it or not, they were asked, why do you want to go into space? It just all seemed dumb to be asking questions like that. Well, I told you a little while ago that we adapted our process from a long-standing methodology. And over the years, I've written several articles that compare the mechanics of our awards process to the methodology whereby a dog show operates. Dogs are judged by breed standards and earn a ranking in a group. And the key thing is they're always being judged against their standard, never against each other, never against one dog against another. They're always being judged against the standard. And the one that best represents the standard becomes the best in the breed, or the best in the group, or the best in show. From the very beginning, the standards that we have used have remained true. There's not been a single deviation made, and that's why it comes that each of our categories and each of these individuals represents the best of the standard for those categories. I told you that the application process is one in which it gathers information about how individuals fit these categories based on the standards. And so when it comes to the best of the best, we are again looking at the individual who best fits the overall standard for what is a ProAdvisor. And this year, That person was Gail Kiersop of the 4700 group in Seattle, Washington. Now, I can honestly say that I've known Gail for many years. And in fact, I've been out on the road on some of those Intuit and Woodard teaching tours with her and witnessed firsthand the experience that she conveys to her class participants. She's unsurpassed in her knowledge and in her ability to communicate advanced concepts. She truly does have the right stuff, and that's why she is our ProAdvisor of the Year for 2020. So, Gail, are you still there?
Oh my gosh, Murph, I'm here and I'm speechless. Thank you so very much. I don't get speechless very often, but I truly am. And thank you very much. So about me and about my practice, I am fundamentally an educator. I taught at the university level for years, and worked at the business center within the university, which did outreach to the community in the evenings. And these were small business people that could come in, and the university would provide resources to them, primarily faculty, university faculty. But one of the things that I learned in that process is knowledge is by far the greatest advantage any of us have. And I don't mean necessarily a formal education, but I mean that we're willing to learn. We're willing to spend the time learning an app. We're willing to spend the time watching somebody else. So many people in the ProAdvisor community have been people that I have been able to stand back and watch how they're doing, whether that is how they maybe handle a sticky situation with a client, how they've actually put together their business. I mean, we kind of heard Tanya, how she did it. You know, we heard from Mario, things that he did. We can all learn from that. In 2009, I had gone to many different conferences, and I kept hearing over and over again, you need to niche, you need to focus on a particular industry. And you know, when you hear it from enough sources, you kind of stop and say, maybe I ought to consider this. And I decided to take the plunge, and that's exactly what it was. It was a plunge. And so 4700 group services the legal community, period. That's it. Anybody calls us outside of the legal community, we refer them to somebody else. We work only with law firms. And then I realized I can't do this without having those apps that truly provide a law firm what they need to be in compliance with the state bar. And so we went out and looked for cloud-based legal practice management applications and spent about 6 months learning all of them that were on the market at that point in time. And very honestly, that learning curve was painful because I didn't have the understanding of the legal industry, what their laws were, what they had to comply with. So we spent a lot of time learning, you know, what does it mean to be in compliance with the state bar? What are the consequences if you're not? What do the reports look like? I mean, we spent a lot of time. And when I say we, it's myself and my team. And And yet that has been the most valuable experience that we've ever had, because when we actually speak with a law firm, we know the pain that they're going through. We understand what their office workflow is. We know where their pain points are. We know what their compliance requirements are, which is so much beyond just the accounting component of it. But it's that relationship that we actually have with the law firm, because we understand from their perspective and from their shoes what's actually happening. How do I think this award will impact 4700 Group? It has been amazing how it has impacted already, because of the number of our clients. When I put it up in LinkedIn and those social medias that our clients use, that the legal community uses, it has been absolutely amazing how that legal community has reached back to us and said, wow, congratulations. That's really great. And when you spend your days working with an industry that, believe me, try to run from accounting as fast as possible, it's really nice when they actually acknowledge that. And then I would say that this entire, this recognition for us really started in 2009 when we started with the legal community, because everything that we do is how to help the legal community better understand accounting so that they can be compliant, and then to share those experiences and to share that with my community, which is the ProAdvisor community. Because I don't think any of us can reach the levels that we aspire to without not only having our mentors, but also being a mentor. And we all know we learn so much by teaching. When we go to explain something, we ourselves learn something during that process of educating somebody else. And so I feel so honored to be ProAdvisor of the Year. I feel very honored to be part of this community. And I absolutely am grateful to those people who, 12 years ago, I was listening to up on podium say, okay, now is the time. And to, focus and niche and, do all those things. I'm so grateful that, and after you hear it enough, I just said, okay, I'll do this. So thank you. I'm so grateful to the Insightful Accountant for the award and for the recognition and for this community. Thank you.
Well, dear, the best part of this is you never have to fill out another one of those application forms, because you'll be ProAdvisor Emeritus every year from now on without ever having to go through this process again. So that's probably the greatest gift you ever get out of winning it once. And, I can say honestly, again, you earned this award, and you are a prime example of what it means to be ProAdvisor of the Year.
Thank you.
Folks, I've got just a couple of other announcements. As I said, we made a change, and for 2021, we are restoring the international awards. We'll be once again giving both or issuing both a Americas and a global award. And I have to thank all of our 2020 sponsors for the top 100 awards. There they all are. Canon, ADP, Receipt Bank, Patriot, Zoho, Sender, Tax Practice News, Abacus Next, Intuit QuickBooks, the Intuit ProAdvisor program, and Scaling New Heights. And I want to say that ADP will co-host with me a webinar of top 100 pro advisors on February 4th, 2021 at 1 p.m. We'll have more details about that. And we'll be discussing the 2021 awards process and related topics, including certification and training, tech stack and third-party apps, and niche practice specialization. And this is the day prior to when formal applications will open. This will be just after we've closed nominations and the day prior to formal applications. So you want to make sure you watch for this. And between now and then, I'll have about 3 or 4 articles that ADP is sponsoring on, how to get ready to fill out those application forms and make sure that you are best of the best. I want to say that this is where you can find a copy of today's recording. As Emily said, everybody will get a email with where this information is. And I also want to say that on January 20th of 2021 at 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll have our next QB Talks, and Liz will be back with me on that date, and she'll be presenting our QBO quarterly update. So I want to say thanks to everyone for being with me today, and for putting up with me. And I want to especially say congratulations to all you award winners. We were proud to recognize each and every one of you, along with all of our top 100 this year. And especially Gail, you are Pro Advisor of the Year.
Thank you, Murph.
Emily, I'll let you sign us out.
All right. Thank you, Murph. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Congratulations again to our top 10 pro advisors, our top 100 pro advisors. I'm so sorry. And I will get the recording and handout to everyone here shortly. Other than that, we'll see you at the next QB Talks. Thank you guys so much and happy holidays.